Hello, everyone. It is I, your Kevinly father, and we are about to broadcast the Trump rally at the Villages in Florida.
Where are you going?
Here we are. Oh, hold on. He hates this house. He's out of here before we even get started today. So, what are you going to do? Kids. So I had this scheduled to start a long time ago. I didn't realize how many, apparently there were a bunch of people in here going like, hey, what's going on? How come this thing hasn't started? The rally itself was late, and then I was like, well, I'm going to do some other stuff. Hi, She-Hawk. Hey, Allison. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Plague. I had stuff to do. Specifically, Kevinly daughter is getting her driver's license on Tuesday. She's taking her driver's test. We'll say that. So anytime she's like, hey, can we go somewhere? I'll drive. I say, yeah, let's do it. So we went out and went for a drive. And then Kevinly's son said, hey, can you order me some pizza breadsticks from Little Caesars? And I said, sure. And I did so on the app. And then we went to the Little Caesars to pick it up after Kevinly daughter was done with her drive. And then I went inside. And they have the pizza portal, and I saw that it was empty. There's nothing there. Like, you're supposed to press a button, and the pizza portal opens, and you take it, and there's no contact with the peoples. And then, as it turns out, the app had ordered it from another one, 10 minutes away. I don't know why. That's the one that is by where I live, but that's what we did. So anyway, now I'm back. So let's get into it. Looks like he's about to start off this rally with a mic touch. And if anyone's watching in the household, can you bring me some iced tea? Let's put some volume. Mic touch! Oh, this one's really quiet. Hold on, we'll turn it up for you.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And hello, Florida. Hello, Florida. It's great to be with you and back at the Villages. I like the Villages. Turn the mic up. It's great to be with you. It's something I wanted to do. I was here 4 years ago in some little ballroom that held about 400 people. And I said, I want to be with the Villages, everybody. I said, get a field or do something. Just go out and get a field. Go out and get a field. And that's what they did. They got a lot of people here.
So the Villages is home to a ton of retired people. I think it's actually the largest retirement community in the United States. So let's go to where the old folks live and not wear masks. This is what he's thinking. Wait, is there a current rally as well? He's doing two today? I didn't even know about this. Hold on. Let's go find the current rally. Hold on. Let's go find the current rally and Trump rally live, and we'll see what we can find. In North Carolina, that's a day ago. Is there a live rally right now? Where's the rally? Live. Here we go. Live. Pensacola? Live now. Okay, here we go. Let's do the live rally. Oh, for the love. Hold on. Got to get past Trump cards. Skip ads. Here we go.
What the hell was that all about?
I don't know. Let's find the mic touch. There we go. Touch the mic. Up. No reason.
Hello, Pensacola. Hello, Florida.
Pepsi Cola.
We love Florida.
Hey, Andy.
There's something going on out there. There's a big crowd of people. The other side's getting a little nervous. They're a little bit shaky right now. They're saying, this is worse than 4 years ago, they're saying. It's really great to be with you. These crowds are incredible. These crowds are incredible. These crowds are
incredible.
I mean, you can't see it from here. There are people on that side that go all the way down, longer than football fields. Way over there.
This isn't the Villages. This is Pensacola.
We're also joined by many incredible patriots from the great state of Alabama. We got to say, Alabama. We love Alabama, right? Thank you, Alabama. 11 days from now, we are going to win my home state of Florida, and we are going to win 4 more years in the White House, 4 more great years, 4 more successful years. Last night, the American people saw the contrast between a 5-decade career politician, Sleepy Joe, right? How do you think he did in the debate last night? He was sharp as a tack, who was fighting only for himself, and a businessman who's fighting for you. I'm just fighting for you. Biden works for big tech, big media. They're his boss. They're his boss. They keep it nice and quiet. He's got a scandal, corrupt politician. They keep it out. They don't want to let any story go, and I have to give great credit to a paper called the New York Post. I got to give him great credit. His big donors, I'd be the greatest of all time at raising money, but I don't want to call up every guy on Wall Street and say, you got to give me $10 million. They'd all give it to me. I would have numbers. I don't need the money. Last time, we did it with a very small fraction of the money that crooked Hillary used, right? No, but they were saying he raised a lot of money. That means he's making deals.
I don't know that 7/10 is a small fraction, but okay.
It's so easy. I work only for the American people. I work only for you. Joe Biden uses his public office to enrich himself and his family. I use public office to bring jobs and wealth back to American workers and American families.
I don't know what we're yelling
With your
about.
vote, we will continue to slash regulations, lower drug prices, favored nations. You know what I'm doing? The drug companies don't exactly like me too much lately. Big pharma.
Nobody does. Nobody. You have no friends.
You know
You've
what?
lost all your friends.
Who cares? I'm doing the right thing. Favored nations. You'll see numbers 50, 60, 70% lower. This is the first time in 52 years last year where drug prices came down. Not much, 1%, but you know what? First time they've ever come down. But now we're going for the big one. We pay the most of any country in the world by far. We're going for favored nations where we pay the lowest price anywhere in the world to matched. We support our police, our great law enforcement.
The lowest price anywhere in the world to matched?
Our price anywhere in the world to matched. We pay the lowest price anywhere in the world. Going for favored nations where we pay the lowest price anywhere in the world to matched. We support our...
Where we match we get the lowest price anywhere in the world that's matched? I don't know what to matched means.
Our police, our great law enforcement, our police. We protect our Second Amendment, which is under siege, but not with me, it's not.
So it's not under siege.
We defend our borders, maintain energy independence.
We're not energy independents.
Did you hear Joe last night made a big mistake? He made a big mistake. I said, oh, you're against oil. Well, yes, we would like to get it. Oh, I said, thank you. Texas, are you watching? Right?
He didn't say he was against oil. He says they want to phase away from it.
Pennsylvania, are you watching? Ohio, are you watching? And then today they came, well, actually, we're not really against it. We don't know. They didn't know what the hell happened. No.
It will be phased out by 2050. That's what they've been consistent with all along.
I think he should have lost about 5 or 6 states with that one. That was not good. It was that was the last question. It looked like he made it. It looked like it was going to be okay. He got off.
It was not the last question.
Off the stage, going back to his basement. And then they hit him with the energy question. They hit him with a thing called oil. And he said, no, we want to wean ourselves off by 2025. I think he meant later than that, but he got the dates mixed up. And somehow they didn't like that in Texas and
Wait, what did he say?
Pennsylvania and a lot of other places. 25. I think he said, no, we want to wean ourselves off by 2025.
No, he didn't. He said 2050.
I think he meant later than that, but he got the dates mixed up.
He did not. He said 2050.
And somehow they didn't like that in Texas and Pennsylvania and a lot of other places. Even you don't like it. You know why you don't like it? Because you like your gasoline at $2 and less a gallon, right? You ever think that's like, you know what, $2 and less, that's like a big tax cut, of which you've had the biggest in the history of our country, by the way. Then you want to ensure more products are proudly stamped with the phrase, made in the USA. That's what we're doing. We will deliver record prosperity, epic job growth, 11.4 million people over the last few months. It's a record. A safe vaccine that quickly ends this horrible pandemic, and we're rounding the turn. With or without the vaccine, we have the vaccines, they're going to be great. But with or without it, we're rounding the turn. Normal life, that's all we want, fully resuming. We want normal life to fully resume. And that's happening. Don't forget, we had the greatest year in the history of our country last year. And then we got hit with the China plague, right? We got hit with the China plague. We signed a great trade deal with China. In fact,
correction there. Joe Biden did say 2025 at one point, corrected himself to 2050. So yes, he did mean to say later, and he did. He corrected himself. Sometimes people make mistakes, then they correct themselves. And if it's within the same speech, well, then we're good. I mean, that's nobody left at that point. So 2025, we're out of here. Turn off the TV. It's 2050. It's fine.
3 weeks ago, they bought the largest amount of corn, the largest amount of soybeans, beef, everything. Largest deal ever, largest, because they...
Last question, by the way, was about Inauguration Day. It's your inauguration day. Make your inauguration speech. What will you say?
No, we're not happy. We're not happy because what they did to us, you know, they stopped it from going into the rest of China, but they didn't stop it from coming out to the world. Us, Europe, the rest of the world.
They did not stop it from going into the rest of China. That is that's complete nonsense.
88 countries, the China plague. But we have the most successful year that we've ever had. Next year is going to be more successful than last year. That's where we're headed. Super big. I gave the largest tax cut in tax reform in American history, and we will cut taxes.
That's nonsense.
Again, for the middle class, even more. By contrast, Sleepy Joe Biden will give you the biggest tax hike in history. He's looking to give you the biggest, think of it. Does anybody have a 401k? Because you can just throw it right out the window if that happens. This election is a choice between...
The 401k it's in stocks. You can't throw that out. I mean, you could take a piece of paper that has your 401k on it and throw it out the window, but that's not going to do anything.
Between a Trump super recovery and a Biden super depression, because that's what you're going to have.
Super depression and super recovery. Wow, everything is super. I'm waiting for the super duper recovery.
It's a choice between a boom and a lockdown. Did you hear him last night? Oh, I'd lock down the country. We're not locking down anything. We're not going to...
He didn't say he'd lock down the country.
Lock down the country. We've learned about the disease. We understand the disease. We understand the disease. I understand it better than you. I had it.
The only person who said lock last night was Trump. It was twice.
What the hell was that all about, right? Sir, you've tested positive. I said, tested positive for what? But you know, the doctors took great care of me. They're great. Walter Reed and Johns Hopkins. I had more doctors than I ever saw in my life. When you're president, you have a lot of doctors. You're laying down, you got doctors all over the place. Their hands are in every part of your body. And I'm saying, I don't like it. But I wasn't feeling great, and they gave me something that was unbelievable. Next
Biden said, I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country.
day, I wake up and I say, man, I feel like Superman. Rip it off. Let's go. I got to get back to work for the American people. We got to get back. Right? We got to get back to work for the American people. No, it was great. I mean, we've learned so much about this disease and young people. Barron, my son, Barron. The doctor said, sir, Barron tested positive. Like about 15 seconds later, he said, sir, he's all cured. He just, I don't know. They're young. They have a very strong immune system. What can I tell you? I said, Barron, I'm jealous. As you've heard from his own mouth last night, Joe Biden will delay the vaccine, prolong the pandemic, close your schools, and shut down our country. We're not doing that. We're having a record comeback. And that's despite the Democrat governors not wanting to
The president has no power to close or open schools.
open up New York, Michigan. You take a look at, Michigan, we won a court case. They said it was unconstitutional. She really ran a tight ship. The only one that was allowed to do whatever he wanted was her husband. Other than that, very tight
Running a tight ship is a good thing.
ship. But North Carolina should be allowed to open up. Pennsylvania should be allowed to open up. You have these governors, they've gone wild. By the way, on November 4th, they'll say everybody can open up. They're doing this to try and deflate the
He prefers being spanked with magazines.
numbers. But the numbers are so good, it won't matter. It's not going to matter. And you're going to see a number on November 1st. It's GDP, a big deal. And the Atlanta Fed just said they project 35%. This is many times higher than any number in history, like 8%, maybe 9%, 35%, because we're coming back.
We've had numbers higher than that before.
The reason we
But not 35%, but we dropped 33%.
can do this is we set up such a strong foundation for the last 3 years. We're coming back, and we're coming back stronger, and next year will be one of the best economic years we've ever had. But Biden would bury you in regulations, dismantle your police departments, dissolve our borders. You don't have borders, you don't have a country, right? Confiscate your guns, want to get rid of your Second Amendment. If I'm not here, you don't even have a Second Amendment. You wouldn't have it. Eliminate private health care. 180 million people have incredible private health care. They want to end it. Terminate religious liberty. Destroy the suburbs with regulations where they want to put low-income housing projects into the suburbs. I don't think so. That would be the end of the American dream. And they'll abolish fracking. You saw Joe. He said, there will be no fracking. This is for a year. There will be no fracking. No fracking. He said it like 15 times. Then what happens? He gets lucky and he wins because Elizabeth Warren, if she would have left 2 days early, Crazy Bernie would have run, right? But Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, took a lot of votes away, right? So nobody talks about this. But to me, it's very interesting. If she were a true radical left, she should have gotten out before Super Tuesday. Bernie would have gotten more votes. Didn't need many, because she didn't get too many. She didn't do too good. But she got enough. They would have all come from him. He would have won every single state. But I think we like it better this way. What do you think? You like it better this way? And we have, 4 years ago, we got a lot of Bernie voters. Bernie, I tell you, Bernie is one guy he doesn't mind losing. He is a guy that doesn't mind losing, because 4 years ago they took advantage.
Yeah, he's a guy because he is a guy who doesn't mind losing.
Of him, and now voters. Bernie, and we have, 4 years ago we got a lot of Bernie voters. Bernie, I tell you, Bernie is one guy he doesn't mind losing. He is a guy that doesn't mind losing, because 4 years ago they took advantage of him, and now this time was even worse.
I'm really glad he cleared that up.
It's even worse. But Biden also challenged me to find the tape of him desperately repeating and pledging to ban fracking and fossil fuels. So what happened? He said, I never said that. I never said it. Never. And I said, no, you did say it, right? Everybody heard him say it. We all during the primary. Then what do they have? 27 people, right? 27. How did we ever emerge? Here we are.
By the way, we'll get the GDP release. It's coming up on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern, so 7 a.m. in the morning. You'll wake up and you'll be like, wow, look at that. It's 35%, which will still be low, will still be down, but we're almost back to where we were before the pandemic, which is a good thing.
Here we are, together. Here we are.
The key thing there is that we've learned that if we do things properly, we can avoid spreading the virus. However, we haven't learned that if we do things properly, we haven't learned how to do things properly, I should say, because we're spreading the virus. It's out of control all over the place.
Remember? We had 17. But they had 27. They had a lot of people. They had Mike Bloomberg. He stood up and he wanted to run. He didn't do too good. Pocahontas took him out pretty quickly. One question. There goes $2 billion.
I'm lying. It's actually the 29th at 8:30 a.m. And it's an estimate. It'll be advanced estimate. It won't be the actual GDP release. The GDP's, the third release comes out on December 22nd. So it will be an estimate coming up, and it's an advanced estimate. It's not even the actual preliminary estimate. It's all over the place. So yeah, on the 29th at 8:30 in the morning, so 5:30 Pacific Coast.
Down the drain.
This is the GDP that Trump has been talking about being really, really high. The Atlanta Fed is something different than the actual the BEA, Bureau of Economic Analysis. They're the ones who released the real one, and this is just a preliminary estimate, an advanced estimate before GDP is actually announced.
So, Joe,
But it happens 4 days? 4 days. The 29th is 4 days. October has the 31st, 29th, 30th, 30th. So 5 days. 5 days before the election, the GDP will be announced. And no matter what it is, believe that Trump is going to say, we set a new record. I've come back, and it could swing the election, even more than last night's debate.
I'm going to grant your request because he said, I did not.
What?
So, Joe, I'm going to question. There goes $2 billion down the drain. So, Joe, I'm going to grant your request because he said, I did not say that. I didn't. He said it many times, by the way. I don't want to bore you with playing too many of the times. But he said no. Then he gets in. He goes to Pennsylvania, and he learns. Somebody explains that that's a big fracking state. It's a big, very big energy state. 1 million people. And he said, oh, yes, we will allow fracking.
This whole thing just sounds like a Battlestar Galactica episode to me. This whole Pennsylvania's a big fracking state, man.
A man with great heart. We will allow fracking. And then he said he never said what he said for the last year and a half. So let's take a look and see whether or not he said it and what he did once he got to Pennsylvania. Go ahead, put it up. Where is it?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels,
wow, look
including
at that.
coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil
We would work it out by 2050, yeah.
fuel. No more, no new fracking.
I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one
Gradually move away from fracking, yeah.
that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
Well, like, what about, say,
No fossil fuels leases on public lands. That's been announced.
stopping fracking and
It's about 3% of the land that fossil fuel production is done on.
stopping pipeline infrastructure and
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
Gonna phase out fossil fuels. Yeah, I mean, the world has to.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking.
Kamala, I've heard so many Republicans talk about her recently. Kamala is in favor of banning immediately. She's much more on the liberal side than Joe, who's middle of the road, which is why he won. Well, it's not why, but anyway. I mean, eventually you're going to work out the horse and buggy. Eventually you're going to work out the gasoline engine and go to electric. I mean, these things are phased out over the next, eventually we worked out cars that ran on leaded gas. That's the way that it worked.
Now we have about 15 other
Eventually we phased in. Now everybody has a seatbelt in their car. That's how the process works.
ones, but we can't bore you. He said no fracking, then he says fracking. This is not what we need as a president, and for a lot of other reasons too. That's like the least of them. Well, I'm president.
There's no understanding of innuendo with Trump. There's no, as we found out yesterday, when I'll find you the exact quote and then I'll tell you about
America will remain, for the first time, energy independent. We're energy independent. And we will continue to be the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We're #1, bigger than Russia, bigger than Saudi Arabia by a lot. By a lot. By a lot. Joe Biden has made a corrupt bargain in exchange for his party's nomination. He has handed control of his party over to socialists, communists, Marxists, left-wing extremists. You see them all summer long running up and down the street in Portland, which we could stop in about 15 minutes. All they have to do is call us. And they're filled with hatred, venom, and rage for our country. If Biden wins, the flag-burning rioters on the streets will be running your federal government. They will decide which businesses can exist and which will be outlawed. That's what they want to do. They will decide which rights you can keep and which will be revoked. They will re-educate your children. They will cancel your culture. Although we're making it very hard on them. You saw the withdrawals. I've made them all over the country. They wanted to re-educate our people. They wanted to disrespect our people. It was racist. It was terrible what they were doing. They'll order you to stay at home while letting rioters and MS-13 killers roam free. You saw that. Stay home, don't go to church. They don't want you to go to church, but if you want to riot in the middle of a main street, you can do it. You want to riot on
You can't riot. You'll be arrested. That's the way that works.
Fifth Avenue, there's no problem.
There's a problem. People get arrested, and then they have to pay fines, or they go to jail. That's how it works.
Can't go to church, but you can riot. In fact, we usually
You can't.
call these friendly protests because
Guys, don't riot.
you're not allowed to have political parties, right? Now, in this case, you can, because we're in a place
You're allowed to have political parties. What is he talking about?
called Florida, and we have a great governor. We have a great governor. Did he say a few words? Did he do a good job? But we don't want to hear from him again, right? No, Ron's doing a great job, thank you. The only one better is his first lady. There's no question about it.
It's always the wife.
Great couple. Eddie's great. No, but they have in some states where the only thing you can do is protest. In other words, you can't do anything, but if you want to protest, so we call in certain states this, we call it a protest. It's a very friendly protest. It's great people, but we call it a protest, and nobody's
There's no such thing really as a friendly protest. It's a peaceful protest.
ever had crowds like we've had. If you want your children to grow up in a free nation where they can speak their minds, practice their religion, and live by their values, then you must defeat sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left. You have to do it. Reject left-wing fascism and vote for American freedom. Vote for America first, because that's what we're all about, America first.
Well, I can only vote in one other country, but that's because I'm a dual citizen. Most American citizens only vote in America, regardless of first or second.
And you know, when other countries come in to see me, I say, I'm sorry, it's America first. You know, they've been our allies. Forget about our enemies. Our enemies, obvious, but our allies have taken tremendous
Our enemies, obvious. What?
advantage of us on trade, on the military. We protect them for nothing. Not anymore, by the way. You know, in NATO, I said, you got to pay. We get $130 billion a year more from me. They didn't do it for 15 years. It went down.
Over 4 years. It was going up again. Went down with the recession, and then it was on the way up again from 2014 on. But yeah, okay, go ahead, take credit.
130 billion, going up to 410 billion. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. My biggest fan in the whole world is the Secretary General Stoltenberg. Secretary General Stoltenberg of NATO, he said, I've never seen anything like it. So they weren't paying, they were delinquent, many of them. 7 were paying, the rest weren't, and now they're paying, and or most of them, or at least they're coming up rapidly. They were delinquent, to use an old word. If you're a
They weren't, and delinquent isn't an old word. Some people are delinquent right now. Trump is delinquent on his taxes.
moderate Democrat or liberal who knows that your party has gone totally off.
And it's not delinquent. They don't actually owe that money. That is the suggested 2% of GDP is the suggested contribution to NATO. No one actually owes that money to NATO.
Off the rails. You only have to do one thing, join the Republican Party, but more importantly, vote Republican. Stay where you are.
So you have to do two things. Two things then. You only have to do one thing, is join the Republic. Oh, then you also have to vote, so that's double the number of things you have to do.
And you know, the numbers are coming in extremely strong. I don't want to talk too much about it because there's a lot of cameras back there. That's a lot of fake news
It's not a secret.
back there. A lot of fake news. But you know what happens? We have the great red wave, and that comes at the end when everybody goes out and votes, right? But let me just be very nice, because I don't want to go too far with this, because I'm watching all these people. Oh, well, the president maybe isn't doing. We're doing so much better than we were 4 years ago, and we did great. We did. We'll take that. But we're doing. Thank you. I feel the same way about you. Sounds like a nice guy.
What if he's right? What if he's going to even win more electoral college votes than last time? What if he wins the popular vote? What will we have become? I'm just kidding. It's not going to happen. Although after last night's debate, it's a possibility. It all depends on what happens in this last 11 days here. Remember last time with 11 days to go, Hillary had this thing cleaned up. It was done. And then the FBI released a letter. Well, correction. The FBI sent the letter to Congress in secret. The Republicans in Congress leaked the letter.
Sounds like a nice man. But the votes are coming in, and we're way ahead of where we're supposed to be. In fact, in some of the states, we're more than even, and we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be like 80-20 behind, and we're even, and in some cases, we're ahead. And they're saying
no votes have been tabulated yet, not one. Well, now, votes have been counted, but no votes. There's not a state out there that has released any information as to how many people voted this way versus how many people voted that way.
What's going on?
There's plenty of people who are registered Republican who will not be voting for Trump. In fact, I'm trying to think if I know anyone sort of in my immediate circle of friends who's going to vote for Trump this year. I can't think of it. You guys, anybody in the audience right now going to vote for Trump?
And they say, like in Texas, a lot of people are showing up. This is great. This could be the end of Trump. Unfortunately, there are people. Okay? They got the sash, they got the hat, they got the whole deal.
The sash?
Now, I think we're going to do very well. You know, remember?
There's people walking around Houston with Miss Deplorable across? No, I don't think so.
That we had the same thing last time. This time it's even greater. But we had the fake polls. And we
there she is. Miss doesn't know what congeniality means.
have some real polls. We're up to in Michigan. That's pretty good, you know, considering it was decades.
Your in-laws are Trump, Todd? What's wrong with them? Why? Are they in the middle of Idaho or something?
Before somebody won Michigan. We won it last time. Remember that? Donald Trump has won the great state of Michigan. Their heads exploded.
Kathleen, where do you live? Where does your husband live, more importantly?
Won Michigan. They go, did they just say he won Michigan? That hasn't been done in many, many decades. But we're doing great. We're doing much better than we did last time. In fact, we're leading everywhere. I think we're leading everywhere.
He thinks that, but that's may or may not be the case. But this is the... Remember last night, he said that the vaccine is on its way.
I'll tell you what, North Carolina...
And then they said, so you're saying the vaccine's ready? It's going to... Nope, not saying that. But it will be here by the end of the year.
Doing great. We think in Pennsylvania doing great. They got to be very careful in Philadelphia. They play games in Philadelphia.
Todd, let me know if they have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. But what I find with most Trump voters is they're regurgitating information that's incorrect. And then I can actually show them how the information is correct. And then they'll get like a, yeah, but still. This is what I did years ago. I voted for Bush the second time around. And the reason I voted for Bush is because I lived in Washington State at the time, and I knew that it made no difference whatsoever for whom I voted. So I voted for the Bush. That way, whenever I got into a political argument, people, specifically my in-laws, I could say at some point, hey, I voted for Bush. After they would accuse me of being a liberal or a, you Gore loser, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, nobody ever said you're a Gore loser because that's too clever for them. But anyway, they would eventually get to the point where, you're just a Democrat or what. I was like, oh, no, hey, I voted for Bush. Don't blame me. But looking at his policies objectively, and they'd be like, oh, really? Huh. And then they would start processing. But until then, they were a shut door. There's nothing. And then, I voted. Oh, you're also a Republican. I may have changed some minds. I don't know. Obama won the next election. Thank you, Kevin.
And they won't let us watch the count in Philadelphia. Remember, we had a certain Republican running a number of years ago, got almost no votes in Philadelphia. It doesn't work that way. So we're watching
I didn't cry when Trump won. I thought Trump would win last time. This time, right now, I don't think he's going to win. September 11th, 2016, I knew he was going to win. Well, I didn't. No, I shouldn't say that. I thought he was going to win. And as we got closer and closer to the election, I was like, nah, he's got this thing wrapped up. Still terrible. But this time, I do not think he's got it wrapped up. He got much, much closer yesterday after that debate than before.
Philadelphia.
So yesterday, I was about 80% convinced Joe was going to walk away with this thing. And I think he has in the people that have voted so far. And that's the weird part, is that a third of the electorate has already voted. So the debate meant nothing. But for those undecideds in the swing states, the debate was not good for Joe. And when I say that, Joe won the debate. If you look at who got the most points, who told the most lies or whatever, but it's what happens with that information after the debate. It's the Republicans showing the sound bites out of context and not explaining that, no, he's not going to get rid of the oil industry tomorrow.
Mark Meadows, we will please
Anyway, now I think it's a toss-up.
watch Philadelphia, Mark Meadows, because I don't like what I'm hearing about Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. I went to school in Philadelphia. I love it. But you know what? I don't like what I see going on in terms of what's gone on over the past and probably what's going on. Think of it. They fought like hell that we can't watch them count the vote. What's wrong with watching? Why can't we have poll?
What?
That we can't watch them count the vote. What's wrong with watching? Why can't we have poll watchers? And so we're in court trying to have poll watchers in Philadelphia. But we're doing great in Pennsylvania.
Okay, the story there is you can watch the polls in Philadelphia. Here's the thing. Philadelphia has provided sort of early voting with your absentee ballots. You can go to places because Philadelphia or Pennsylvania is new to no excuse absentee ballots, which means before you could get an absentee ballot if you were in the military, if you were elderly and couldn't travel, etc., etc. Now Pennsylvania is just like, hey, if you want one, you can have one. No reason needed. So lots of people have these absentee ballots, but they've never done it before. So what Philadelphia does is says, hey, come on down to the library or someplace else with a lot of space, take yourself a table, be socially distant, and we'll have somebody there. If you have questions about how to fill the ballot out, we'll take care of it for you. They want to watch people filling out their absentee ballots, which is not how the system is designed. I feel like we should be allowed into people's kitchens because that's what you do. You sit at your kitchen table and you fill it out and you read your voter's guide. They have places for that for people who might be homeless or have questions about, but that's what he's upset about. So it's got nothing to do with Philadelphia not allowing poll watchers. They wanted to go down to the county offices and watch things at the county offices, and the county offices is like, fuck that, COVID. We got like 8 people in this tiny office. You can't be in here. You can't bring 4, 5, 6 more people into this tiny office. We're essentially closed right now. We're only here because we have to be.
Pennsylvania, gotta watch Philadelphia. We're doing great all over the place. We're doing really good in Iowa.
Well,
people
really
don't know it, but we're doing great. How could Iowa not go with us when I've given farmers $28 billion? Thank you, China, very much, okay?
It's from the U.S. Treasury. It's not from China.
And ethanol and everything else. No, we're doing great in Iowa. We're doing great. I mean, we're doing great. But we're really doing tremendous in Florida, so I just want to let you know that. Alabama, by the way, your neighbor in Alabama. Whoa. Alabama. Well, wait, how many people here are from Alabama? Whoa. Whoa. How many people here are from Florida? Alabama has been great. I'm up so much in Alabama, right? Alabama has been great. I'm up so much in Alabama, right? And you have a great candidate, the coach. You know, a coach, another great coach. He's won 3 national championships. Urban Meyer, I was talking to him. We're talking about your coach / Senate candidate, which hopefully will be soon. And Urban said, not only is he a great guy, he's a great coach. He's a great coach. And he's going to be a fantastic senator, so that's good. So say hello to him, Alabama. I'm glad I knew about this whole deal in terms of your location. Can you imagine if I didn't call out Alabama for being a great state? Could you imagine? I'd be in big trouble. I'd be in big trouble. No, we're way up in Alabama. Alabama has been good for day one. I'm voting early tomorrow in Alabama. Alabama has been good for day one. No, we're way up in Alabama. Alabama has been good for day one. I'm voting early tomorrow in Florida, and I urge every one of you to do the same. Go and vote. I'm here to vote. We just left the villages. Did you ever hear?
Kathleen, where was the CNN group that you watched? Was it remote, or were they all in one location in a swing state? Usually they like to do a swing state, but where was that?
The villages? Now those are Trump fans. They get in those golf carts and they will take on anyone. Nobody messing with them. Thank you.
Jeremy, I've been paying some attention to the New York Post story. Big revelation yesterday with the gentleman who previously worked with Biden, but then hosed him out of millions of dollars, Hunter Biden, which, by the way, legal for Hunter Biden to make money. If you want to talk about the Burisma or whatever, that's fine. You can talk about that. But I like the fact that you're using substantive language. I appreciate that. But if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine too. I don't know why you wouldn't want to talk about that. That seems to be a keynote. No one seems to care. I mean, quite honestly, it doesn't affect Joe Biden at all, and nobody's voting for Hunter Biden. So Republicans are going like, but can you imagine if there was a story about Tiffany? Like, who cares? And whether or not you're the big man or the big guy, Trump called him the big man yesterday, but the email said big guy. That was after he was already out of public office. So even if he was the big guy, I mean, the emails are ridiculous. One of the images yesterday, some right-wing nut shared one of the images on Facebook or on Twitter yesterday, maybe on Facebook too, I don't know. But it was this damning. I'll find it. I want to show you because it's kind of funny.
The first thing, Crazy Nancy.
Here's the thing. Whenever you see like an email or some sort of damning evidence about Joe Biden, there's always a tell in there. There's always a giveaway. I'm going to find the one from yesterday and show you what I mean. Let's go back to him.
Pelosi and crying Chuck. Have you ever see Schumer? Every time he wants to put on, he cries. We call him Crying Chuck, but I've known him. Every time he wants to put on, he cries. Crying Chuck. Have you ever see Schumer? Every time he wants to put on, he cries. We call him Crying Chuck, but I've known him I've known him so long. I gave him one of his first contributions, maybe his first. Can you believe it? A long time ago. I've known him for a long time. I never saw him cry. He only cries in front of a large crowd. It's an amazing thing. But the first thing that Biden and Crazy Nancy and Crying Chuck, first thing they do, they'll want to pack the Supreme Court of the United States with radical left judges who will eliminate your Second Amendment.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Mike Emanuel, he sent out a tweet yesterday. I'll bring it over here. You can see the tweet right there. So this is between Hunter Biden and somebody named James or something like that. And it's like, oh, look at this incriminating evidence. Here's the screenshot, right? So I just looked at it. First off, the phone screen is cracked. So, all right. Typically is. If you look up at the top of the phone screen, look at it's from MTS Russia. MTS is a phone service in Russia. Which one of them was in Russia when they were texting each other? And what was that part about it not being Russian disinformation in terms of a disinformation campaign? Again, this is a phone that was in Russia on a Russian cellular service at the time the text was received. And neither one of them appears to have been in Russia when that text was. But anyway, Stuff like that almost all the time. So I'm inclined not to believe any of the nonsense. And again, even if it's true, even if Hunter Biden made money, okay, Senator Johnson and Senator Grassley put together an 87-page report led by the Republican Senate. And it said, hey, not a single policy was changed. Oh, and also, any kind of ethical law that we might be talking about here that hasn't been violated doesn't apply to a president or a vice president. Guess who was vice president? There's nothing there.
Now, by the way, if you're pro-life, they will wipe that out so fast, they'll wipe out every one of your rights. They're going to pack it. They're going to pack your court.
No, there was lots and lots of Russian collusion, Jeremy. There wasn't conspiracy. That's the thing that most people don't understand. There was not, okay, there was conspiracy. That's what I believe, but I don't know that to be a fact. But we don't know that the conspiracy couldn't be proven by Mueller because the Trump campaign deleted emails, deleted texts, and used encryption apps. That's on page 10 of the Mueller report. Don't believe me about any of this stuff. Look it up. Go look at this at page 10 of the Mueller report. The Trump campaign deleted emails, text, used encryption apps, and pled the fifth. So they hid, and because innocent people don't plead the fifth. That's what Trump said, not me. That's what Trump has said. Okay? Mueller was not looking for collusion. There was lots and lots of the collusion. The GOP Senate Intel Committee found that there was collusion. I'm going to show you their conclusion about collusion. So yeah, this whole no collusion, no complete nonsense. There were over 100 meetings between Trump campaign members and the Russians. They gave them polling data. They gave them voter information. That's collusion. That's cooperation. That's all that is cooperation. Collusion means cooperation. Conspiracy is something else. So no conspiracy could be proven because they deleted emails, but there was lots and lots of collusion. I'll show you.
They're going to get rid of the filibuster. They're going to do things like you wouldn't believe. They're going to add D.C. so they'll pick up another couple of senators.
Hold on. Jeremy, if I can show you from the Senate Intel report, which is led by the GOP, by Republicans, if I can show you that they definitively said that Russia attacked our election process and Trump enabled them, if I can show you that, can I change your mind? Or are you just, your mind is completely closed, you don't think for yourself, you're a sheep? Which is it? Are you a sheep or can your mind be changed? Let me know.
Right? They'll add D.C. and a congressman or two. No, we can't let it happen. We can't let it happen. You know, one of the reasons they say I got elected was because I put out a list of 25...
Yeah, we can't let taxation with representation happen. Not in this country.
...conservative judges. And a lot of people, they said 22% of the people voted for me. I never believed that, but the fact is, I guess it...
The original list of 11 judges that Trump put out has none of the 3 judges that he nominated to the Supreme Court. None of them.
Must be so. But Joe he won't even say whether or not he's going to pack the court. You know why? Because he has no idea. Other people are telling him, Joe, you're going to pack the court. Okay, yes, sir. And Joe, he doesn't know. You know, you could have 16, 18, 19, 20, 21 judges. It's crazy. He's got to give us a list because nobody ever says this. They say you got to say about packing. You can't vote for him if he's going to pack the court. And
Okay, good. Jeremy, you're not answering the question. If I show you specifically that the Senate Intel report led by Republicans, pay attention, Republicans said that Trump enabled Russian attacks on our election. If I can show you that, will it change your mind that I am telling the truth because I've done the research, or are you a sheep? Those are your options. Will it change your mind, or are you a sheep? Not that you're listening. I don't care if you're listening. That doesn't mean anything. Give me an answer. Don't be a politician about this. Are you going to change your mind when I show you the truth, or are you a sheep? Let me know. Those are 2 choices.
You can't vote for him unless he gives a list where he swears that he is going to take people only from that list. And it has
You didn't take people from your list, so what difference does it make?
to be a sane list, not a radical left crazy list. And he's not even, people aren't even talking to him about that.
I got one right away, Merrick Garland. Right there. Jeremy, you're not answering the question. I can't. Are you Russian? You must not be communicating English. So this must be your second language thing because it's very clear. Change your mind or you're a sheep. That's it. Totally closed mind sheep. You're going to change your mind when I show you the truth. Those are your options. Let me know which.
He has no idea who's going to put on. How about if you had a Supreme Court with radical left judges? We would have an entirely different country. So he's...
Jeremy, if I show you, first off, you can go look at yourself. Go look at the Senate Intel report on the Russian collusion. Go look yourself. I don't have to show you. But let me know. I'll show you if you tell me that you're going to change your mind. I'm going to tell you and show you that I'm telling you the truth. And I don't know you. I don't care for whom you vote. Doesn't matter to me. But you're being deceived. You're being lied to, my friend. And I don't like anyone being lied to. Lies sucked. I've been lied to before. Doesn't feel good. And I'd rather you not be lied to. I'd rather you open up your mind, get out of your bubble, and realize that you're being fed piles and piles of bullshit.
He's got to give us a list and he's got to talk about it, you know? They didn't want to talk about it last night at the debate. They should have mentioned. How did I do last night, by the way? Okay. You know, when you love your country, it's sort of easy to do. Somebody said, that's it. You know, we had a tremendous number of people watching Super Bowl type numbers, I guess, right? Bigger?
Not even close to Super Bowl numbers.
Because we were...
Like a Super Bowl, like Super Bowl III. Yeah, maybe.
People, like, aren't happy with the NFL right now. You know that, right? They're not happy. They're not happy, but hopefully they'll be starting to respect our flag and respect our country. That's starting to happen. Look at basketball. The finals were down 71%. You know why? Because people...
Because it's basketball.
...want respect for our nation, for our flag.
No, a big part of it was, oh, who's in the finals? LeBron James? Lakers? All right. Seen that before.
The radical Biden-Harris agenda is projected to slash the typical American income by $6,500 over a very short period of time. That's a middle-class nightmare. For the last 47 years, Joe Biden has been outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars. We're bringing them back. 19 years. We're bringing them all back. They're coming back.
I'm still alive, Yoshi. No, I didn't even realize that so many people would apparently go to the chat room when I scheduled this. I didn't know that YouTube was sending out notifications at a scheduled time because things change rapidly. So I just put it up there. It's a bigger story than that. But anyway, no, I'm fine. Thank you for worrying about me. Don't, though. You haven't been here since 5 p.m. Eastern. And I didn't realize YouTube would like blanket out like, hey, make sure to tune in now. Because don't tune in until you can if you want to. I understand there was a chat room going on. And that's nice. Moving on.
Except where we keep the oil, keeping some oil. Where we keep the oil, we're leaving a few.
We're not allowed to keep the oil. That's an international crime.
In 2016, Florida voted to fire this depraved political establishment. And you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first, making America great again. And you've seen over the last 2 weeks, Joe Biden is a corrupt politician, and he's compromised, fully compromised. China is desperate for Biden to win because if Biden wins, China wins. And if China wins, China will own America. They will own.
Trump has a secret bank account. We have seen every year of Joe Biden's taxes for the last however. Yeah, Joe Biden's taxes could vote by now. That's how long we've seen Joe Biden's taxes for.
And they're not playing games. They don't want me to win. Did you see where Russia and Iran are going? Here we go, Russia again. You know? How about this, Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff? a perfect watermelon
A damn shift?
head. He looks just like a watermelon. He goes, I believe that the laptop was conceived and dedicated.
What's a laptop? Is that what you kind of hair you have? Is that his hairdo?
Believe that head. He looks just like a watermelon. He goes, shift. A perfect watermelon head. He looks just like a watermelon. He goes, I believe that the laptop was conceived and dedicated by Russia. Everyone say Russia again. Oh.
No, everyone would say dedicated. What does that mean? How do you dedicate a laptop? Was there a plaque put on it? No, no one said that.
Russia again? No, it's not Russia. DNI, they came out, they said not Russia. But
DNI also said Russia is actively attacking our election again.
You know what it is? It's
what?
I call it the laptop from hell. Right? There's more stuff in that laptop, and they
Okay,
say
wait. Hell dedicated the laptop?
that you haven't seen anything yet. This corruption is exactly why I decided to run for president in the first place. One of the reasons. One of the reasons. For years, I watched one betrayal after another as politicians like Joe Biden sold out American workers at every turn, shattering the lives of millions of American families while their families they just raked in millions of dollars. Biden goes to China, the son comes in, takes $1.5 billion to manage. He goes to Ukraine, right? He gets $183,000 a month to sit on a board. Well, he must have vast energy knowledge. No, he doesn't know anything about energy. This young person right in the front row knows more about energy than he does.
You didn't know anything about being president. Ivanka doesn't know anything about being a senior White House advisor.
And then Biden says, we're not...
Hunter Biden got hired as a lawyer. Guess what? Hunter Biden he's a lawyer. So, lawyers.
Not giving you $1 billion. We're not giving you the $1 billion.
Hunter Biden was an adjunct professor at Georgetown. He knew some stuff.
Unless you get rid of the prosecutor that's investigating this company that my son's on, and unless you get rid of this prosecutor.
The prosecutor was not investigating anything. That's why the prosecutor had to go, according to the international community. And the IMF, the company or the bank, the International Monetary Fund, that was going to loan Ukraine the $1 billion. It wasn't American money. It was 190 or 180, 170. There's a ton of countries. Almost all the countries are somehow involved in the International Monetary Fund. It was that money. It wasn't American money. But we were going to back up the loan. So if Ukraine defaulted on it, America would take care of it with the International Monetary Fund. So we were basically the equity behind the loan.
That's looking into my son. And they said,
no one was looking into Hunter Biden. He was hired in 2014. And he was hired to be on the board and to represent them in legal matters.
What do you mean? We're not giving you the $1 billion from the United States. And they
the $1 billion was from the International Monetary Fund.
Rid of the prosecutor. He goes, whoa, let them have the money. And that's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay.
What?
And there are many other
That's not how it went at all. That story just doesn't make any sense if that's what happens. Unless you get rid of the prosecutor. He said, whoa, let them have the $1 billion. What? I thought he was just telling them they couldn't have the bill. All right.
instances. This is corrupt. And there are many other instances. This is corrupt and corruption like nobody's ever seen. So I couldn't sit by and watch that. I couldn't sit by and watch these horrible trade deals that are ripping off America all the time. I couldn't sit back and watch China year after year after year. Hundreds of billions of dollars they made. And we have a much different attitude toward China now, much different. They are coming after me, a lot of people in Washington. By the way, no.
Trump had a Chinese bank account and took out $17 million in cash in 2017 while he was president. $17 million in cash from China while he was president. Remember how he signed all those blank pieces of paper? The table full of blank documents? Oh yeah, I'm divesting myself of my business. No.
Nobody's ever gone through what I've gone through. Nobody. No president's ever gone through this. No president. Anybody else would have gone to a corner, sat down in the corner of a room, put their thumb in their mouth, and say, "Mommy, mommy, take me home, please, take me." Nobody's ever.
You know, George W. Bush said there's no corners to hide in the office, in the Oval Office. Trump didn't understand that metaphor.
Ever gone through a fake impeachment based on a perfect phone call. The phone call was perfect, based on a phony statement made by some people. Did you ever?
Looks like the Russian bot's gone now. So anyway, I'll show you guys the definitive proof of collusion with Trump and Russia. This is from the GOP Senate Intel Committee, which I can't believe this isn't a huge story. Basically, the Senate Intel Committee, the GOP Senate Intel Committee said that Trump committed collusion. Here it is. I'll make it bigger for you guys. Here it comes. Okay, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. This is from the GOP. It is our conclusion, based on the facts detailed in the committee's report and the Russian intelligence services assault on the integrity of the 2016 U.S. electoral process and Trump and his associates' participation in and enabling of this Russian activity. Very key here. This is not just the campaign. This is Trump, and his associates' participation in and enabling of this Russian activity represents one of the single most grave counterintelligence threats to American national security in the modern era. Collusion. That's collusion. All collusion is cooperate. Are you working with somebody else? Yes, I am. Good job colluding. It's not conspiracy unless they can prove they're attempting to commit a crime. So they can't, because Trump's campaign deleted a bunch of emails. Trump refused to testify in person. We know now that Trump lied to the Mueller report in the written testimony. I've been to too many Baptist mass. Anyway, so yeah, there's collusion.
Ever see Shifty Schiff get up in front of Congress and imitate my call? Except it had nothing to do with my call. But by that time, that ship had sailed. But it was great. We went up.
Come on, right there. That ship had sailed. Come on, Trump, I'm disappointed in you.
People appreciate what we go through. And people now see the corruption in Washington, the corruption in the media, because the media is just as corrupt as anybody on earth. And I would say that big tech is not distinguishing itself. I mean, they're not exactly doing so great. Earth. And I would say that big tech is not distinguishing itself. I mean, they're not exactly doing so great in making themselves look legit. How about big tech? They don't want to put something on, they don't put it on. But you know what? Can I tell you what? People.
They're private companies. They're allowed to do that. Fox will only put certain information on. CNN will only put certain information. I mean, they're allowed to do that. And guess who can't stop them from doing that? Congress, specifically. That's the First Amendment applies to Congress, not to CNN. The First Amendment doesn't say media companies cannot restrict free speech. It doesn't. It says Congress.
Are wise to it. They're wise to it. They see what's happening. So they're coming after me because I'm standing up for you. I'm standing up for this country. I'm standing up for the United States of America. And that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And if I don't sound like a typical Washington politician, it's because I'm not a politician. That's what you want. And if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, and by the way, if I did, we would have lost a long time ago. It's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fought harder than any president in the history of this country. Joe Biden spent his entire time in the Senate, long days, hours, nights, working to cut your Social Security. You don't know about that. And to cut your Medicare. People don't know about that. He denies it. He denied it last night. He denied
it would be on the record if he did, and he didn't.
it last night. So today, I want to show you a second clip.
Oh, yes.
You know, I'm into clips.
Yeah. You're right here.
Take a look.
Yeah. Have you been on the floor of the Senate?
He's upset because the AV guy started it before he actually pointed at the screen.
Yeah. You're right here.
Take a look.
Yeah. Have you been on the floor of the Senate?
Wow.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
Have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time
That's Bernie Sanders talking to him, by the way.
again, talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans programs. Is that true or is that
No,
not
it's
true?
not true.
That is not true?
That is not true.
I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Everything was on the table. I did not support any of those cuts in Social Security or in veterans.
Whoa. Everything was on the table. All right, you're right. You just said it. Including, in your judgment, cuts to Social Security and veterans.
In order to get the kinds of changes we need on other things related.
Joe,
but we did not cut it.
I know, because people like me helped stop that. All that I would say to the American people, go to YouTube. It's all over the place. Joe said it many, many times. I'm surprised. You know, you can defend it or change your mind on it, but you can't deny the reality.
Huge difference between cutting Social Security and freezing the amount of Social Security. That's what he advocated for in the 80s and the 90s. In the 70s, Biden was wanted to increase Social Security benefits. In the 80s and the 90s, as the debt was spiraling out of control, under Reagan originally, we entered the 1980s as the world's largest creditor. Everybody owed us money. Reagan spent and spent like a drunken sailor. And we left the 80s as the world's largest debtor. We now owe $23, $24 trillion. Like, who knows? Joe Biden said we need to freeze the government. We cannot do this. We cannot spend. And this is a Democrat talking. We cannot spend willy-nilly. We don't have this money. We can't be borrowing a ton of money from, you guessed it, China. We have to sustain the government on our own. Well, he was ignored. Chuck Grassley, the Republican, was also arguing with him at the time. But to say that he wanted to cut Social Security is misleading at best.
So when I said last night he tried to cut Social Security, he said he didn't.
He didn't?
Just like he said he never talked about fracking. Look at that. There it is.
He said we need to freeze any increases in government spending. That's different than cutting something.
There it is. Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate it, Bernie. Thank you very much.
Because he said if we spend like crazy like this, we're going to end up with a $10 trillion debt. $10 trillion. That's where he was wrong.
Bernie Sanders, everybody. The great Bernie Sanders. As president, I will always protect your Medicare and I will always protect your Social Security, okay?
I heard that Bernie Sanders is a guy who knows how to lose. Because what that means is he's a guy and he knows how to lose. Glad I could clear that up for you.
One of the issues most important to me is taking care of our great, amazing veterans, and we have a lot of them here tonight, right? Under Biden and Obama, Our veterans were neglected, mistreated, abused, and left on the secret wastelands. That's what they were. It was just a wasteland. They were on waiting lists for.
I don't know what was on the Trump secret wastelands. I don't know what he misread. Waiting lists? I think probably waiting lists is a good bet to what he was supposed to read, but he read wastelands, secret wastelands.
Ever. They treated abused. Under Biden and Obama, our veterans were neglected, mistreated, abused, and left on the secret wastelands. That's what they were. It was just a wasteland. They were on waiting lists forever. Nothing got done. They'd have to wait for doctors for 2 weeks.
Secret Wastelands sounds like an HBO series.
4 weeks. The VA's Office of Inspector General found that over 300,000 veterans died under the last administration waiting for care. When I came into office, I signed the VA Accountability Act. More than 11,500 VA workers who are not giving our veterans the kind of care and respect that they deserved. We said, get out, you're fired. Get out. You couldn't fire anybody. They could be sadists, they could be thieves. You couldn't fire anybody. We got it passed. It's called VA accountability. It was a big deal. For 42 years, they tried to get it done. We got it done. Then to help veterans get the care they need, when they need it, we approved Veterans Choice, and we made it permanent. And now, 91% approval rating.
Obama did that in 2014.
In the VA. It's never happened before.
Jeremy, I absolutely hate President Trump. That doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Doesn't mean that the facts aren't on my side. I hate him because he attacked America. He colluded with Russia to attack America. How is that hard? I don't like people who attack my country. I do not like people who enable other countries to attack my country. If somebody bombs America, say, for example, Al-Qaeda, I don't like Al-Qaeda. I don't like ISIS. I don't like that guy because he enabled the Russians to attack our democracy. And I, for one, happen to feel that democracy is a pretty darn good thing. I don't know about you, Jeremy. Ask your comrades. Did you see the proof that I showed you, Jeremy? Or were you off watching videos to research whether or not I was a Trump fan? Of course I'm not a Trump fan. What do you think this broadcast is? It's called the LieStream. See the little graphic over there? The LieStream. That's not a typo. President Trump lies. That's why we're doing this. Just because someone doesn't like someone else doesn't make them incapable of thought, Jeremy. And I would like to believe that you are capable of thought. You're not showing it so far. You're really not.
And for our veterans, the days of the deadly wait lists that you had under Joe Biden.
They were sending the veterans out to the secret wastelands. 300,000 of them left there to die. They had no water. They had no food. They wanted to get to Mexico, which is the closest water and food, but there was a big wall in the way.
Are over. So thank you to the veterans. Great people. Thank you very much. We also secured record funding for the VA, including $9.6 billion for mental health services in 2020. Every VA medical facility now offers same-day emergency mental health care.
Here's the thing. I'm not a huge Biden fan either, Jeremy. I'm not a huge Biden fan, but I will vote for whomever is running against the enemy. And that guy is the enemy of the United States. He aided and abetted Russia. Russia attacking our election. No war was declared, so it can't legally be treason. But that's treasonous activity.
We have dramatically expanded telehealth for our nation's veterans, which is a big, great thing. And we even set up a White House VA hotline, which I promised as a candidate, has fielded more than right now 460,000 calls. They actually call into the White House. successfully resolving 96% of veterans' concerns and problems. We've
Prove what, 69?
also taken strong action to protect our veterans during the global pandemic. When the China virus arrived, we launched the largest mobilization since World War II. Our early and aggressive action saved more than 2 million lives. Remember this. Biden kept saying, oh, we should have acted quicker, except when I closed it down, the ban to China. That was in January. 2 months later, he was saying I shouldn't have done it.
No, he never said that. He was right yesterday, accurate. There were dozens of countries who shut down travel from China before the president did. The president didn't do it until February 2nd at 5 p.m. He allowed thousands more to pour into the country because there were 11 exemptions in the proclamation. So, no, he didn't shut down travel from China. That's absolutely false.
It's just nonsense. And by the way,
it is
when
just
he
nonsense.
did his H1N1, he calls it the opposite, right? The swine flu.
So did you.
It was one of the great, far less lethal, by the way, but it was one of the great catastrophes. Nobody knew what the hell they were doing. They had no clue. We pioneered incredible therapies.
And they learned from that, and they put together a report on how to handle pandemics, and you guys didn't even bother to use it.
Reduced the fatality rate 85%. Think of that.
I have thought of that, and here's what I'm thinking. We couldn't test anybody because the CDC screwed up the test, so we were only testing the very sick and those that died for coronavirus back in April. So, of course, the fatality rate has come down, because back then, just about 60% of the people who were tested were either dead or they died, because we were reserving the tests. We didn't have enough tests. We still don't have enough tests.
And here I am, I'm here. We saved tens of millions of jobs by passing the largest financial rescue package in history, totaling over $3 trillion. We saved so much, and a lot went to this great state.
Hey, socialism.
We're fighting to get stimulus checks for American workers. Nancy Pelosi wants to give stimulus checks to illegal aliens. We don't want that. And to large bailout states. She wants to bail out states that are not doing well. Unlike Florida and unlike Alabama, states that are not doing well. I'm working to make the antibody treatment I received available to anybody that needs it free, because it wasn't your fault. We'll have 100 million vaccine doses before the end of the year, and maybe substantially before. And that will help. It's going away anyway. We're rounding that curve. We're rounding that corner. But the vaccine will help it. It'll speed it up. Joe Biden's plan will crush America. My plan will crush the virus. We're going to get back to normal. We just want to be where we were 7 months ago. We will eradicate this pandemic and defeat the scourge from China once and for all. So we're joined today by incredible people. Ron DeSantis, you said hello to, and Casey, you said hello to. But I just want to tell you, you have a great governor, and you have a great, great First Lady. Thank you very much. He is a great governor, I'll tell you that. And Casey is fantastic. So we have a warrior, and he's a good guy, but he loves to fight, and he loves his state. And he loves fighting for Florida, and he loves fighting for our country.
Rick Gates?
And his name is Representative Matt Gaetz.
Rick Gates!
What a good guy he is. Thank you, Matt.
We're fast forwarding through the introductions here.
Disaster declaration longer than ever before. We're doing it right. Last month, I approved a major disaster declaration for the state of Florida, and together we will rebuild.
That's your job, yeah.
Build the panhandle stronger than ever before. We're doing it right now, stronger and better.
Somebody type a lullaby for Andy.
Rebuilt.
Hey, big thanks to new producer Chuck. Chuck has come on board as a producer, so thank you, Chuck, for all your contributions. So we have a new producer in the house, producer Joanna. Be nice to him.
Stronger. We do plenty
Show
of
him
others,
around the
but
chat
I won't
room.
tell you about everything.
What the hell? Hold on.
Fire anybody. We got it passed. It's called VA accountability.
Hold
it was
on.
a big deal.
I don't know
For
why
four-
we're here.
But I said to him, I said, let me ask you, give me one name. The next thing they've said that they'd like to hit. They couldn't get a meeting. And we'll build inward a little bit. This is a more important election. In that way. It doesn't work that way anymore. Built in this country. And on offshore drilling comes, I'll tell you, if something happens, if it rains, like a little rain, the fatality rate, 85%. They said hello to, but I just want to tell you, you have a great governor and you have... And candidate for Alabama's first congressional, stronger than ever before. We're doing it. We They're coming.
I don't know why I went back to the beginning, but there you go.
Coming back, our troops. They're coming back fast. We have not only achieved energy independence, we've done it while protecting.
What?
Not only achieved energy independence, we've done it back fast. We have not only achieved
One more time.
They're coming back fast. We have not only achieved energy independence, we've done it while protecting our pristine environment. The environment's very important. I said last night.
Here's the thing, though. We haven't achieved energy independence. Not even close. We're getting better, but we're not. We're still importing energy from other countries. It's complete nonsense.
We want the cleanest water. We want the cleanest air. We want things. You know, carbon emissions are now at a 35-year low. And we're not in the Paris Accord. We don't feel like spending trillions of dollars and destroying our business.
Jeremy, I'm an independent. I hope you are, too. Everyone should be an independent. I have voted for Republicans before. I'll never vote for Republican again. That party's done for me. The way they've been supporting this liar who attacked the American justice and political system and election system, no.
How's it doing for Paris? Not so well. I recently signed an order placing a moratorium on offshore drilling right off the coast of Florida. Your governor asked for it. Your two senators. I'll tell you what, Rick Scott, Marco, where's Marco? He's here someplace, and Rick Scott, they asked for it. They all wanted it, and we got it. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history, and we are finishing the wall with nearly 400 miles already built, and this is the wall they wanted.
Yeah, did he just say offshore? Because when I was looking around to try and find where we were, he said it, and I heard it. I wasn't really paying attention right there. Did he just say that? Joanna, I'll back up.
This is the wall the Border Patrol wanted.
Oh, because he was talking about energy independence, yeah.
There's 400 secure border wanted it, and where's Marco? Asked for on offshore drilling. I recently signed an order placing a moratorium on offshore drilling right off the coast of Florida. Your governor, Mexico is paying for the wall, just so you understand. You know, they like to say.
Well, I like to say they're not paying for the wall because they're not paying for the wall, but they're paying for the wall, just so you understand. But they're not. But they are, just so you understand. Let me explain it. Let me explain how. They're paying for the wall, but they're not paying for the wall.
And I made one mistake. I should have said, we will never, ever build a wall. Then the Democrats would have said, oh, no, we want a wall. But we got it done. We got it done. That was not easy. That was a tough one. We had that party. Look, we built the military. We did money, coming in for military, everything. But the wall, they didn't want to give us 10 cents. And it's one of the biggest projects that we've ever built in this country. And it is exactly what Border Patrol wanted. I said, how about concrete slab? No, sir, we have to be able to see through it. How about concrete something else? It's much cheaper. No, sir.
Why didn't we just build a freeway? If we were going to spend that many billions of dollars, why not just build an elevated freeway? It works as a wall, and people can get from California to Texas on it. Why doesn't anybody ask me about these things?
Sir, we need steel, concrete, and rebar. I said, oh, that's
I don't know,
great.
Stephanie. Plagued, hold on.
Because in every spike, we have concrete, and we have very powerful rebar. But we got it's going to be done very soon. And it has given us, and especially during the pandemic where we really needed it, it's given us the safest border we've had in many, many, many decades.
Plagued, I can't help you. I'm sorry. Wait till your timeout is over, and then you can come back and yell at, who timed you out? Stephanie. Yell at Stephanie.
And people can...
And by that, I mean use a very strongly worded capital letters chat.
come into our country, and we want them to come into our country, but we want them to come in legally, and we want them to come in through merit. We want people that can help our country. Last night, Joe Biden vowed that his immigration policy will be catch and release. He thinks it's great. You catch a criminal, murderer, rapist, you catch the criminal and you release.
He didn't announce that his policy would be catch and release.
The criminal into our country, and you say in 4 years you have to be back for a court case, right? But
it's not 4 years, but there is a delay. We need more judges. We need more courtrooms. That is correct, but it's not 4 years.
Never came back. We had an argument. It turned out to be right.
He was not right.
He said, and then they come back. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't think he had a clue. He said, and then they come back and they go to trial. Isn't it wonderful? No, Congressman, not too wonderful, right? Catch and release, not easy. I ended it because what happened is nobody ever came back. I said last night, only people with an extremely low IQ came back. They didn't.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. So that the people that do things legally in this country, they've got a low IQ. Law and order.
Come back. Why would they come back? They're free in our country. So we ended that. And
so that they can be in our country legally? I thought that's exactly what you want.
We ended plenty of other things like that. In other words, he wants totally...
mothers with children are come back in the 90s. But again, all the numbers that you see on this are misleading because first off, no one really looks into it that much. They do. It's all kept track of by the government. But when you see numbers from the Heritage Foundation or whatever, people doing the research, what they do is they say, how many people come back, show up for their court date? Well, a good number of them decide they're going to settle somewhere else. They apply for refugee status in Canada, or they apply for going somewhere else. These aren't just refugees. Some people go back to Mexico in the next 2 or 3 years before their court date. Some people go through mediation. So a lot of people go through arbitration. You don't want to go to court. You want to settle this before you get to court. So the number that actually show up in court for their court date is low because their court date has gone away. The problem has fixed itself. We don't want them coming and showing up for their court date. Ideally, we figure something out before they get to the court because that just delays time and money and jams up the court system. So yes, of course. So when you see a figure like 72%, wow, what happened to the other? They got it resolved before getting there. Now, there is a percentage of people that are released into the country and they just disappear because they know they're probably not going to be allowed to stay in the country. So they work as part of the 11 million people in this country who are not here legally. And they provide about 8% of the agriculture. So 10% of the economy. Do you want to get rid of all those people, or do you want to offer them some sort of way to stay here legally so that they can keep pumping this incredible economy?
Open borders, as the Democrats.
Oh, and they also pay taxes.
Do. And if you have open borders, if you don't have a border, you don't have a country. You no longer have a country.
Well, you do have a country. There's lots of countries without borders. All of the countries in the European Union have no borders traveling between. Some of them have actually created borders, put the borders back because of coronavirus. But anyway, that's a different story. And no Democrat wants open borders. Nobody's ever said, let's open up the borders. Everybody can come in.
It's the most radical immigration proposal in American history, perhaps
in what
anywhere
history?
In the world. Immigration proposal in American history. It's the most radical immigration proposal in American history, perhaps anywhere in the world. Other countries have borders. We fight for other countries to help them with their borders.
Oh, did you go through a border between France and Switzerland?
And then we don't protect our own border.
Do you have to show ID or anything going between France and Switzerland now? Switzerland used to be open to everybody.
No, it's not working that way. It doesn't work that way anymore. Number one, we're letting other countries fight for their own borders, which is also good.
That's fighting for your border.
If Joe and Kamala are elected, it will trigger a tsunami of illegal immigration, the likes of which you've never. It will trigger a tsunami of Kamala are elected. It will trigger a tsunami of illegal immigration, the likes of which you've never seen. Millions will come from scores of countries all over the world to take advantage of us. No community in the United States will be spared. To serve his donors, Biden
Here, playing the caravan card again.
last night pledged mass amnesty within the first 100 days. He wants to give mass amnesty. Tens of millions of people. He wants to give priority to illegal aliens. My priority is to American workers and to America's great citizens. The American people will decide this election. It's the most important election we've ever had in this country.
No, sweetie. The Electoral College decides the election. That's why you're there. The American people voted against you. And that's fine. That's the way America's set up right now. That'll change eventually, but that's the way it's set up. You won. Fair and square. Well, yes, you had help from a foreign adversary. You colluded with them. You gave them information. You're there, but that's the way it works. The American people never chose you. Never.
Country. And you know, because of what happened 4 years ago, I used to be torn. I said, well, that was so big. It was so important. This is a more important election. A more important. And remember again, because I never say it, I don't say it enough, Supreme Court, and judges. We will have approved over 300 judges by the end of my first term, a record. Federal judges, including Court of Appeal judges, and 3 Supreme Court justices. And we'll have, hopefully on Monday, Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett. Hey, she's popular. People love her. She did fantastically. They were trying to hit her. How bad did Kamala look going against Amy? Right? And by the way, Bobby Bowden, you saw that? How
what?
Good. He beat the plague. He said, I did it because I want to vote for Trump. He's 91. What a great coach he is. Thank you, Bobby. I'm in your territory, Bobby. I want to say thank you very much. No, Bobby Bowden. So he was really a hell of a coach. He won like 340 games. He won 2 national championships. But, you know, I didn't really know. But he said, no, he had it. He was very ill. And he beat it. And he said, the thing that makes me happiest, because I want to vote on November 3rd for President Trump. How about that, Bobby Bowden?
You're in Florida. He can vote absentee. You've already said the absentee system is great. So hopefully he's already voted. I mean, he's already had COVID once and almost died. Let's not send him back there so he can infect his family, shall we?
Thank you, Bobby. Tough guy, great coach. We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military, including $1.5 billion in Tyndall Air Force Base right after Hurricane Michael. That was a big deal. That was a deal where your governor came. And your governor wanted me pleased, because you know what I was going to do? I had a great idea, because it's a very big, and it's right on the water. And I said, you know, being a developer, I said, you know, this land, for an airplane, the way we make them today, they go so quick. You can be over this area like in about 2 minutes. What we'll do is we'll sell this to the developers for billions, right? Right on the water, right on the ocean, right?
Guys, my chat rate right now is 6. That's what YouTube is telling me. So good job, everybody.
We'll sell it for billions of dollars. You don't need this good a location because it was wiped out. And we'll build inward billions of dollars. You don't need this good a location because it was wiped ocean, right? We'll sell it for billions of dollars. You don't need this good a location because it was wiped out. And we'll build inward a little bit. We'll buy some land for 2 cents. And we'll build a new, beautiful airport because it was really wiped out by Michael. I think it was by Michael, right? And your governor didn't like that idea. He wasn't thrilled. I said, look, this is a great thing. We can make a fortune. No, I don't like it. So I said, all right, the heck with it. I then visited a general and a colonel, and we had all sorts of people, and they all wanted to be there. So we rebuilt it, and now it's thriving again, right? It's thriving again. Yep. Tyndall. We killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. They've been looking for him for years. We took out the mass murder of American troops and many other people. Soleimani is dead. Bad guy, bad guy. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal. They paid $150 billion for nothing. They then gave $1.8 billion in cash.
They didn't pay anything. They refunded the money that Iran had given to us in the late 70s.
Cash, $1.8 billion. You ever see what that looks like?
Somebody get rid of Jeremy. He's just spouting. He was making sense for a while now. He's just spouting talking points, and they're dumb.
I recognized the true capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem.
Where?
Of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace in the Middle East. And did you see what happened today, right? Did you see it? Sudan, another country that just came into the deal. Peace, you know what this is? Peace in the Middle East without blood all over the sand. It turns out I'm the candidate of peace. Do you believe it? Everybody said Trump will be in war. Remember, we were going to go into war with North Korea. Whatever happened? We get along. I get along. I get along with them.
They've been developing a nuclear arsenal, and now they can reach the entire United States with an active nuclear warhead. And just recently, they unveiled a missile, a giant missile, that seems to be capable of carrying 4 warheads and can get past our defenses in Alaska. So now every city in America is vulnerable to North Korean nuclear technology. I should say devastation. Anyway, that's what's happened with North Korea. Back to you, Mr. Trump.
He's a little different, and that's okay. I guess I am too. But President Obama said the biggest single problem the country has, this is when I first took office, sitting down, the 2 chairs, yellow chairs, sitting down. The biggest problem. I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. And he felt we were going to go to war in North Korea. In the meantime, where's the war, right? Where's the war? And it's just sort of all going to work out, you know? I said, did you ever call him? No. But actually they did. They wanted to meet, and they couldn't get a meeting. And we've met, as you know, and we just, look, I don't say what's going to ultimately happen, but that was 3.5 years ago.
And you tried to get them to a nuclear de-proliferation agreement, and they said no. And now they've got multi-warhead nuclear bombs. Intercontinental ballistic missiles that can kill everybody in the United States. So, yeah, maybe it was a good thing that Obama refused to meet with them until they committed to denuclearization. Maybe.
I have a feeling it's going to work out just fine. Biden is a candidate of endless war and needless death.
By the way, it's the feed that keeps oscillating the volume.
I did more in 47 months than Sleepy Joe Biden did in 47 years.
He hasn't been there for 47 months yet. He's really bad at math.
A vote for Republicans is a vote for safe communities, great jobs, and a limitless future for all Americans. A vote for Republicans is a vote for the American dream, not the American nightmare. Look at all those people. Look at all of those people. Someday I'd love to be able to make a speech where there are no cameras. I can just speak and just relax. Take it nice and easy, have a lot of fun.
He would not make that speech. Hey, Rich.
Because if they...
You know what, though? You resign. You can make that speech tomorrow.
If they ever catch you making even the slightest mistake, it's headlines. Headlines all over the world.
Well, I mean, they make a video where you make lots of mistakes, and it's funny because you say stupid things. But yeah, I mean, you're the president. That's what's going to happen.
You know, I said one...
Specifically because you mock the other candidates because they have speech impediments. So that's why. Anyway.
Thing the other day, I said, suburban women, please love me. Please.
Suburban women.
I beg you, please. You know, I said one thing the other day. I said headlines all over the world. You know, I said one thing the other day. Headlines all over the world. You know, I said one thing the other day. I said, suburban women, please love me, please. I beg you, please. Because you see, suburban women, I have saved suburbia. I've gotten rid of the worst regulation. Thank you. Suburban women. Thank you. No, but I said kiddingly and sarcastically, how suburban women, please love me. Look, I've gotten rid of the worst regulation. It's a terrible thing what they want to do to suburbia. You're going to have crime. You're going to have low-income housing right next to your beautiful house. It's not good. And they said to me in a question from a fake news organization, why are you begging suburban women to love you? I said,
60 Minutes, the longest running news program in history, fake news organization.
I said, I'm really not. You know, these are bad people, okay? These are bad people. But suburban women should love me. I'm the greatest thing that ever happened to them because I'm saving suburbia. And you know, these radical, crazy anarchists, you know, the next thing they hit, they've said that they'd like to hit suburbia. With me, they're not hitting suburbia. They won't even get close to your house. They won't get close.
Why have you allowed them to hit the cities then? I mean, with you, you're in charge right now. This is Trump's America. If you're not going to allow them to get to suburbia, why have you allowed them to burn down our cities, sir?
Close to your community.
I mean, you have to be invited into suburbia as well. The governor of the state has to request the National Guard. You can't just send in the government unilaterally, the federal government. So suburbia is no more safe than your inner cities, sir.
But with Sleepy Joe, suburbia will be next. You know who he wants to put in charge, overlooking? With Sleepy suburbia, they won't even get close to your house. They won't get close to your community. But with Sleepy Joe, suburbia will be next. You know who he wants to put in charge, overlooking this whole thing?
It's not Cory Booker. You keep saying Cory Booker, but no one has made any sort of announcement or there's been no discussion. And Cory Booker himself says, I don't know, it's because I'm black that I'm supposed to be in charge of the suburbs?
Booker. Cory Booker will be in charge of your regulation. So suburban women, I think you have to love me. But I love you.
Cory Booker's a looker. So I think suburban women, they might actually be leaning towards Cory Booker.
Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing...
Yeah, but Cory Booker will leave vegan cookies, Colleen, so...
superpower of the world. And we will end our reliance on China once and for all. It's already started.
Can we end this once and for all?
We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement. Do we love our police? Yes? I have the endorsement of almost every police organization in the country, including New York's finest, and they've never done it before. They've never done it before. I have Chicago police, Florida sheriffs, those Florida sheriffs. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them here.
I thought Cory Booker should have been a choice for president, but and if Biden doesn't win, I will say that again.
Tonight, those Florida sheriffs are tough. They know what they're doing. Texas.
It's just math. It's just math, people. I was having this discussion, I think, with producer Joanna the other day, that I was saying right after the election, within a few months of the election, after the polling data, the exit polls came out and said, hey, look, African-American males, the numbers were down. Hillary didn't get them out to vote. That's the problem. You need to have a candidate that can inspire and create that Obama coalition. And a big part of that is the fact that the Russians were attacking Hillary Clinton. I mean, the number of times the meme about Hillary Clinton saying that she liked hot sauce in her purse, that she carries hot sauce, and that's like, oh, that's such a Karen thing to say. That's not true. Only black people like hot sauce. That was the implication of the meme. And they African American males, many of them showed up at the polls. And as Obama said yesterday, even when a lot of African-American males show up at the polls, it's only about 60%. African-American females, they show up better than anybody. But again, these are generalizations. This doesn't mean 69% is about the number where African-American females show up. And that's higher than white females, white black males. There's a lot of white black male going on in Trump's administration. I'll tell you that right now. White males, et cetera, et cetera. So, African-American males. Now, every time I mentioned this a few times after the election back in 2016-17, in 1718, somebody would say, you're a racist. Oh, you're a horrible racist. How could you say that? You're blaming black males for Hillary losing. It's like, no, it's just math. It's not all black males, etc., etc. And now, go ahead and turn on the news for 10 minutes. Well, say it now. The first 10 minutes, everybody talking about what do we need to get out. Biden needs to get out the African-American male vote. Now they're finally admitting it. Look at what Trump is trying to do. The Republicans were attacking Cory Booker a year and a half ago as being Spartacus, because he said that once in the Gorsuch hearing. No, not in the Gorsuch, in the Kavanaugh hearings. One of the hearings. Could have been Gorsuch. Anyway, he said it in the Kavanaugh hearings, and they attacked him mercilessly. So if you watch the right-wing bubble, they went after Cory Booker. They tried to chop him off at the knees as much as possible because they know that if the Democrats can get out the African-American males at a higher percentage than Hillary did, they will win. The election was won with about 70,000 votes. You turn over Michigan, you turn over Pennsylvania, you turn over Florida, you've won the election. I just want to end this thing. I don't even know why I went off on that. Basically, I was right.
It's Oklahoma, everybody. Remember the other debate I said, which debate did you like more? I thought they were both good. Which did you like more, the first one? Second? Well, there's two ways of doing it, the tough way or the nicer way.
Here's the thing. If Andrea Mitchell says it, it's true. And she said it yesterday.
It's not. Two ways of doing it. But I said to him, I said, let me ask you, give me one name of one law enforcement group that endorsed you. He couldn't do it, right? Then I said, say the words, law and order, Joe. Just say the words.
And he said it 6 times. He said law and order 6 times.
I won't do that. Say the words, Joe, law and order. He wouldn't do it, right?
Never said he wouldn't do it. Never said that. Complete fabrication. Now he's going back to the first debate stories again.
Do it. So if that's what you want as your president, you're not going to have a country for long, okay? Remember that.
Makes no sense.
We will ban deadly sanctuary cities. We will uphold religious liberty, free speech, the right to life, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will always stand with the people of Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and their righteous
pandering.
struggle for freedom. We will stand with the people of Colombia. We're working very closely with them in their fight against the narco-terrorists. We will strike down terrorists who threaten our citizens, and we will keep America out of endless foreign wars. And when I said we rebuilt our military, $2.5 trillion, all made in the USA. We have the greatest equipment in the history of any military. We are the pride of the world, in a sense. We are, if you look at Russia, if you look at China, everybody's envious. We have the best rockets and missiles. Our nuclear is now fixed and ready. And hope to God you never have to use it. And the only way you will never have to use it is when you have it, and it's in great shape. Great shape. Hope to God we never have to use it. We have the super duper missiles, I call them, right? The super dupers that go 7 times as fast as the ones we had. They're now called old-fashioned, right? We have equipment that nobody's ever had before. No country has ever had what we have. We have the F-35. We have brand new, which is super stealth, right? I asked the pilots, why do they like this plane? Well, sir, the enemy can't see it. I said, that sounds good to me. What do I know? But we have new tankers. We have new everything. We have the greatest new military we've ever had. And you know what? Let's stay out of the wars, but we'll build it up stronger and better, and we will have peace through strength. Now, we have a missile, though. It's hypersonic, it's called. And we have
No,
a
it's
missile.
not.
So fast you can't see it. You can't shoot it. You can't do anything with it.
It's hypersonic.
Now, we have a missile, though. It's hypersonic, it's called. And we have a missile. So fast you can't see it. You can't shoot it. You can't do anything with it. And frankly, another group stole our plans during the Obama administration. They also have one, but ours is even faster. Ours is even more powerful, and we have things that nobody can even come close to. So we are the envy of the world in that way. And again, we're never going to use it, because when you have it, you don't have to use it. When you don't have it, that's when you need it. And that's never going to be our position. It's never going to be our position. We will never let that happen in our country. You know, when I first came in, a general said to me, highly overrated general, I have to be honest with you, highly overrated.
Mattis.
He said, sir, we don't have
Chosen by Trump.
ammunition. I said, no president should ever hear that again. And you know what? No president should ever go through what this president went through in this country. They spied on our campaign and they got caught. It was treason at the highest level. Let's see what happens. But they spied on our campaign and they got caught.
Nothing has happened. It's been 4 years. Nothing has happened because it didn't happen.
President should ever have to go through that again.
Speaking of law and order, here's Biden at the first debate saying law and order multiple times. The trouble is, of course, that Trump didn't hear him because Trump was talking every time he said law and order. He said it 6 times at least. I stopped counting.
Yes, you asked a question, let him finish.
Law and order. Law and order.
Let him
Law.
Over and over again. And Trump just kept talking.
We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, already done, further reduce the cost of prescription drugs, that's favored nations, down 80%, 70%. I'll tell you, Big Pharma's not happy with me. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions. Oh. We will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars.
Okay.
And NASA is now the preeminent space center in the world by far. And when I took over 4 years ago, it was a mess. It was a mess. A lot of things were. The
Really?
ISIS caliphate was all over the place. We've destroyed 100% of the ISIS caliphate. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized to America. What happened? Look.
Apologized to where?
This was to America. For years, you had a president who apologized to America.
No. He was trying to say apologize for America. He read to, so he stopped the word halfway through.
For years, you had a president who apologized to America.
He just stopped it.
What happened? Look. You had a president trust. For years, you had a president who apologized to America. What happened? Look. You would have, this was like the apology tour. Remember when he went to all these countries and he would apologize for us, for America. We don't need anybody apologizing for us. But you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great state of Florida. I have gone into battle for you each day over the last 4 years. Hasn't been pleasant in all cases. People say, how the hell do you do it? I do it because I love this country and because we're making changes like nobody has any idea. On election day, to continue our movement, I am going to rely on you. Get out and vote. We cannot take a chance. Get out and vote. Vote early, bring your friends, your family, your neighbors.
Uh-oh.
Cannot take a chance. Get out. We're going to rely on you. Get out and vote. We cannot take a chance. Get out and vote. Vote early. Bring your friends, your family, your neighbors, your co-workers. Even grab your boss and say, come on, boss, you're coming to vote. You gotta vote. Most important
There's a really stark line of the makeup tonight.
election we've ever had. I really believe that. Because you have a
Not on that side, on the right side.
radical left group that can do very bad things. You look at Venezuela, you look at other countries. This is just a massively large version of that if you have the wrong people in. Together we are going to make history once again. That was history. Remember that 4 years ago? Look at you. I'll bet you do. What an evening that was, right?
Yeah, presidential elections are always history. That's how history works.
Donald Trump has won the state of Florida, remember? Donald Trump has won the state of Alabama. And right up the coast, Georgia we won, and we won North Carolina, South Carolina, Pennsylvania. Right up the coast we went, and then we won Michigan. Louisiana, you're right. We won Louisiana by a lot, right? They love Louisiana. I love Louisiana, too. Talking about helping them with hurricanes, right? I help them a lot. From Tampa to Tallahassee, from Jacksonville to Fort Lauderdale, and from Orlando to right here in Pensacola, we stand on the shoulders of red-blooded American patriots who poured out their heart, sweat, and soul to secure our liberty and defend our freedom, so important. We inherit the legacy of American heroes who crossed the oceans, blazed the trails, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, dug out the Panama Canal.
What was that city again? Where is he?
They said, how'd you do in Pensacola? I said,
Pensacola? Yep.
raised up the great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism. And from here, in this beautiful, gorgeous state that I love so much, landed our brave American astronauts on the face of the moon. We made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. It's coming. But not if you allow somebody to raise your taxes, because they're going to raise your taxes, and that's going to be it. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people, with your help.
Well, they've been there for 4 years. Who are they taking the country back from?
Your devotion and your drive.
Yeah, he's reading it. He always says astronaut's funny, but did he forget the T totally this time?
You allow some the greatest nation in the history of the world, and the best is yet to come. It's coming. But not if you allow somebody to raise your taxes, because they're going to raise your taxes, and that's going to be it. Proud.
Maybe everybody there makes more than $400,000 a year, so he might have a point.
Citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people, with your help, your devotion, and your drive. We are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning, winning, winning. We are one move.
These speeches are from 2016.
Movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God.
Except for the Democrats.
And together with the incredible people of Florida, we have made America powerful again. We have made America wealthy again. Stock market. We have made America strong again, our military. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again.
Really? Over the last week? Because last week is we will make America safe again.
We will.
So somebody polled that, and apparently people are like, we're not safe right now? I thought President Trump was, and they're like, oh, just say we've made it, we've done it, doesn't matter, it's a lie, we've done it. So for a while they were playing like, look at this nightmare in America and all these Democrat states. Look at it. It's terrible. America's burning. And then they're like, oh, wait, no, we made America safe.
Make America great again. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Alabama. Thank you.
Well, that was a really boring rally. Let's see if he does a little dance here. Gonna do any dancing, sir? I haven't been on Twitter like at all today, since probably 8 or 9 in the morning. There you got the face shot. And any dancing? He's hot. Look at all that sweat dripping down. Like, go ahead, just wear a shirt, no tie. Roll the sleeves up so it looks like you're working hard. I don't think he can. Without the jacket, he probably looks really tubby. Yeah, there we go. Baby Trump doop 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 doop. Baby Trump doop 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 doop. Okay, well, that's the end of that, kids. That's enough rallying for today. Again, my apologies for those of you who showed up at 2 o'clock or whenever I had it originally scheduled. I didn't realize you would all get notified and show up and chat, but I'm glad you had a good chat. So I think you're welcome. Yeah, the double fister. So there you go, kids. Probably do something tomorrow. Row in the boat. Row in the high oars. Yep. You can leave. You can go. You're done. No, he just loves it. Everybody loves Scotland. I've never been to Scotland. I gotta go to Scotland. Guys. I'll see you later. Not that. I don't know what that's there for. Get out of there. Get. There we go. Hold on. There you go. Let me show you this. I wanted to show you guys this. Off stage now. Trump is off stage and the camera's still rolling. Matt Gaetz and a bunch of other people. I saw Kayleigh Macaroni back there. Nobody's wearing masks. Just, because they all got sick. Now they're all immune. Let's go. Oh, come on, really? Show me. There we go. Let's back you up. And, oh no, that's them coming in. Yep, best is yet to come. And he does the dance. Here we go. Must have gotten right to the very end. He leaves the stage. There's, let's see, there's Secret Service. They've got their masks. There's Matt Gaetz in the background here. No one wearing masks. That lady. Here comes Kellyanne Conway. Nobody wearing a mask. Once you've had it, you can still spread it. That's the way it works. You should still be wearing a mask because masks protect others around you. They just don't get that. You can be immune temporarily, but you can still actually contract it, shed it. You just don't suffer the consequences of it because your body's already built up the correct antibodies. But that's another story. That's enough. No, not Kellyanne Conway. Did I say Kellyanne? Kelly McEnany. That's enough science for tonight, guys. Okay, and here you go.
Where are you going?
Kevin, thanks for that.